Gym day. We just came from the gym.
And it's your day to be smoking hot.
Today's your day. Today is your day to talk about all things body and all things body image and about how you feel about you, because it doesn't feel good to not feel good.
Oh, it feels horrible to feel horrible.
That's something that sounds really wise, but we just...
Does it sound wise?
Doesn't feel good to not feel... Don't quote us on that. Or maybe do, and we'll get really
Maybe
famous.
do. Tweet us out.
So today's your day to look smoking hot, to be smoking hot. What do we mean by that?
Well, we mean that today is your day to tap into that little part of you that says, hey, I'm amazing. I'm magnetic. I have something in me that draws people in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you know how it is, right? There's the days that you're just feeling like...
like crap on a stick.
Nothing's working.
Yeah.
I'm running late. I'm stuck in traffic. Nothing fits.
Yeah.
And it's a bad day. And I just ran out of hairspray. And it's a bad day. And then your day just spirals like that. And notice on those days, like...
You don't get a lot of looks. Nobody's checking you out. Nobody's really talking to you or smiling at you.
Like you feel worse. And then it makes you feel worse because... the world is treating you like you don't exist.
Yeah, because when you're putting that energy out, people can sense it. And nobody wants to be around that, right? And you don't even want to be around that. You're probably like, oh my gosh, I kind of hate myself today. Right?
And we all have those days, right? We
Everyone
all
has
have those days.
Yeah.
But today's not that day.
No, and when you have those days, after this episode, you will be able to turn those days around in like 2 minutes flat.
2 minutes, okay. So if today's your day to feel smoking hot or to be smoking hot, what that means to me is, you know those days where no matter what your body looks like, okay, no matter how much you weigh or what your skin tone is like or how long your hair, like that doesn't matter. But inside you just feel like glittery and glamorous. And
What was the word you used before? Shiny.
Shiny. It's like there's this shine that just comes out of you. And it could be something as simple as, you know, you had a conversation with an old friend and it just like lit you up. Or you got a new pair of shoes. Shoes always make me feel shiny.
That's true.
Right? And or something like something has happened.
You've complimented someone. Like when I compliment people, I feel amazing.
Or giving a gift.
Yes.
And they open your gift and they're like, oh, thank you. And you just feel so good. So that's the little shiny part that we're talking about, that inner feeling of, oh, I just feel good about myself.
Yeah.
What I've noticed, I've seen it in my clients, I've seen it in workshops, is that when people feel good about themselves, then their natural beauty just starts to like shine out. And because let's be honest, most of us are pretty average looking.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's something like, 12 supermodels in the world, maybe, right? The rest of us, pretty average. And so how do you go from pretty average, which is all of us, to I feel really good about myself? It comes from inside.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with how you look. It's all about your attitude. It's about owning that stuff.
Owning it. And owning who you are beyond all the stories. So we were talking earlier about how we grew up in families with girls, right? So Jenna has sisters, I have cousins. And it was always like, well, she's the pretty one, and she's the smart one, and she's the athletic one, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody gets these roles of the one. Like, so for me, I was the smart one, right?
And when you're the smart one, you can't be the pretty one. It's physically impossible. You're
No.
in a box. You're the smart one.
You only have
There's
that.
no crossover.
That's it. Smart
Yeah.
and nothing else. And at some point, you have to kind of challenge those things that other people have told you about who you are, right? If they've told you you're smart, sure, you could be smart, but could you also be beautiful? Could you also be not just beautiful, but stunning and magnetic and attractive, right? And so it starts with that personal challenge of what other people have told you that you are.
Yeah. And really, so a simple way to see how you're feeling about it is just to tell yourself one day, right now, preferably, I am beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I am smoking hot.
Smoking.
I'm kind of amazing.
Smoking.
And then see how that feels for you. It might not fit at first. Maybe you'll think, oh, that's a lie. Like, I can't tell myself that.
If it doesn't fit, then just start with this. I'm average looking, like most people.
Start with that.
Start with that, because that's probably true. And you could probably get behind that. So then you could start with average looking to, you know what? On some days when I've like put this all together, I actually look quite nice. And then you could go to the next level and the next level, and you'll get there. We got there.
Yeah.
There are days I feel so ugly and fat. Oh my gosh. So bad. And it doesn't matter about what the scale says or what other people tell me or any of that. It doesn't matter about any objective stuff out there. It's just how I'm feeling inside. And then usually a couple days later I get my period and then I realize why I felt so shitty.
Read The Female Brain.
Read that book. It's so good.
I'm only on like page 5.
It's so good. But right, so sometimes
it.
it's just hormonal and you're just like spinning out and you don't know why, and then you feel okay a couple days later. So just to be gentle with yourself, and if you're feeling not so great today, it doesn't mean you can't feel amazing tonight.
Exactly. Yes. Your feelings can come and go really based on your thoughts, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're thinking to yourself, okay, so let's say you're in a day that doesn't feel good and everything's kind of going wrong. What can you do about that? I think one thing to do is to think about what makes you feel good and what has made you feel good in the past. So for me, I know that if I call my mom and talk to her, I'm going to feel pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just tell myself, okay, call my mom. Like, call your mom.
Right now.
Right now.
Call your mom.
Her, call your mom. Talk to her for 10 minutes and great, you feel a little bit better. And then do the next thing. Maybe it's actually going for a walk. Yeah, I know it's daunting, right? It's daunting to like put on your clothes and leave the house and drive to the place that you're going for a walk and then go for a walk.
That's the worst, when you have to like drive somewhere to go for a walk. That's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I do? In every house that I live in, and I've lived in a lot of houses, in 10 years we've moved 14 times. I know, that's a lot of packing and unpacking. I told my husband, next time we're hiring people to do all that. I'm not doing it. Anyway.
After 14, really?
14, I know. It only took me 14 to like set a boundary. But in every house I've lived in, I've always looked for a little trail or a little, even just a neighborhood sidewalk jaunt that feels interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So whether there's some nice trees around, or I'm passing a certain house that has really nice landscaping, gardening, or flowers or whatever, mm-hmm. or it's past a school and there's these little like preschoolers walking outside, it makes me happy. I always look for somewhere in my own neighborhood that I can go for a quick like 10-minute walk, because otherwise it becomes like a big palava, especially if you have a job, and that you only have a certain amount of time, or if you have kids or other pets, or it's something that you can just do locally. Makes a difference too.
Totally. So I really think we were talking about like the first step is to feel better and stuff like that. I think the number one step, the very, very initial step, like step 1A.
1A is the advanced step.
Is to give yourself permission to feel smoking hot.
Right.
Like, give yourself permission.
Because you know what we do, right? Is when we don't have something and people out there have it, we often start to develop these belief systems like, oh, well, they must have it because they're whatever, selfish, or they must have it because they're, unkind, or they must have it because they're super filthy rich and don't care about anybody but themselves, or they must have it because they don't have kids and they don't have commitments, so they have all this time to go to the gym, so that's why they look like that. So we start judging those other people just to kind of make ourselves feel better.
Yes, totally.
Kind of
that is exactly what happened.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I don't know. Oh, there we are.
Oh, we're back.
Hello.
We lost you. We thought we lost you. Good
really,
thing.
We lost ourselves.
We lost ourselves. We're like, everything's gone. Oh, but we're back.
So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we think to ourselves, yeah, she's super hot, but she's probably a bitch.
She's probably so mean. And she probably has no friends because no one wants to be friends with a mean, skinny bitch that, that looks like that.
Exactly.
That's in your own head, my friends. I have some girlfriends who are smoking hot.
This one, hello.
Right here, okay?
And nice people.
Nice, like down to earth. Like you can like roar back, laugh with them, and they're kind and they're generous, and it has nothing to do with how they look. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier is the pretty girl syndrome, I would call, where people think because you're pretty, you have it all.
Yes.
Right? And so you must not have a problem, and you don't even have permission to have a problem because, well, you're pretty, so therefore nothing should be wrong in your life.
Yeah, what is that saying about the biggest curse is to be like the prettiest thing in the room because nobody wants to actually talk to you or be around you? It's like the loneliest thing to be pretty. Yeah.
Why are we doing this to each other, ladies and gentlemen?
That, but when you push people away, like you were talking about, we think, oh, she's really pretty, but she must be an awful person. When you do that, really you're building a wall between yourself and pretty. So pretty's here, you're here, and you're building this wall. Like, I'm never going to be pretty because I don't want to be a bad person.
Right.
Just like we were talking about being rich before. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be rich because I don't want to be lazy. I'm not going to be pretty because I don't want to be mean.
Right. But these associations, like, they're false.
And we've also, we've also been taught to be like humble and to be within ourselves and to not talk about your looks and no, if you wear makeup, like if you wear makeup to the gym, it means you're like a bad person.
Makeup to the gym?
I wear wear makeup to the gym because I want to feel nice as I'm working out. It makes me feel good. It makes me work harder.
Well, there you go.
You know?
I don't wear makeup to the gym. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because I sweat like all over and then like wiping my face. Like, oh my god, there's so much water. I'm gonna sweat. Yeah, can you imagine my makeup? I'd be like... That's why I don't wear makeup. Because I can't control my hands. Like, oh, sweat. And then all the foundation would be all over my arm. That's my rationale.
Oh,
so
God.
whether you wear makeup to the gym or not, you can be a normal person, a kind person.
And you're allowed to think to yourself, hot damn, I look good. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. We've been taught that there's something wrong with that.
You know when it's wrong? I'll tell you when it is wrong, is that when you're saying, hot damn, I look good, and that girl over there, she doesn't.
But
Or
none
she's
of our
ugly.
viewers would ever say that.
You guys don't say that, because you're kind. But sometimes when we're comparing, in that comparing mode, you may start doing that, I'm better than you, I'm worse than you thing.
Yeah.
And you gotta know when you're comparing yourself, it's because you're not feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're making yourself better than other people because you're not feeling good. Or you're making yourself worse than other people because you're not feeling good, right?
So comparison in general is a no-no.
Just if you feel yourself comparing, it's a great time to self-reflect and be like, okay, so where am I being called to step up in my own life to have some of this stuff that I'm being envious of?
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes I'm envious of people that go onto the dance floor. Like if you're in a club or like at a wedding or something, that person that just goes onto the dance floor and they just like dance.
That's
They're
me.
not even drunk. They're nothing.
That's
They're just like
totally me.
dancing.
Jenna, that's me.
I'm so jealous
She's
of you
me
right
like
now.
bust out my moves
Yeah.
on the floor and like just like, and I don't give a I'm just gonna dance and it doesn't matter who's watching me and I'm not drinking. I'm just like that. People who know me, my husband, he's like, oh god, here she goes again. But I don't care. It's super
I
fun.
love that. I love that. But when I'm in the moment, if I saw you and I didn't know you and I didn't know you were like amazing, I'd be like, ugh, what an attention seeker. Because really, there's a part of me that wants to be out there doing the same thing.
And you know why I'm
Right?
dancing? Because I just can't sit still when my beat comes on. I gotta get up there and like, woo. Okay, I have to let you in on a little secret. Okay, so I've been doing some self-talk around fat. Okay, because what I've learned is I'm not fat. I have fat. I'm not hair. I have hair. I'm not fingernails. I have fingernails. So I read this summer that I'm not fat. I have fat. And we all have a little bit, like a little some here and there, whatever. So there's a few fat cells that I'd like to crash, that I'd like to let go of. And so what I've decided is to start visualizing my fat cells. So I kind of sat there, like I fully did this, okay? I know it sounds a bit cheesy. I sat there and I'm like, okay, fat cells, show yourselves to me.
Reveal yourself.
Reveal yourselves, fat cells. And I sat there and the funniest thing happened. Okay, so I'll tell you what my fat cells look like. Maybe yours look different or the same. So it's basically like a long oval shape with like long skinny arms and legs. And they kind of do this.
Are they yellow? Are they like minions?
They're like a golden color. Yeah, they're like golden. And then they kind of do this. And they're like, and so I've got my fat cells dancing. So today at Zumba, at the gym, I was like dancing. I was like just doing the moves. And all of a sudden I just bursted out laughing because I imagined the fat cells like dancing with me, right? Like just like dancing and dancing. And I was like laughing. And the teacher's like, and I'm like, laughing, and she had no idea that I was just like, loving up my fat cells, just loving them up. And when they're done their dance and they're done all their celebrations, there's this like rolly round slide, and they just like roll away, and they're like, bye Sarah, thanks for the party, we enjoyed your thighs.
Wow.
And then they just roll away.
That is amazing. And the difference is when you feel good about your body, when you feel good about everything about you, you start to look incredible, right?
Even your fat cells.
Yes.
Like some of them have top hats like do.
Because why not?
Some of them are like hip hoppers, like They all have their different dance styles. Some are like ballerinas.
And you just brought them to life.
They're totally alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, what were they like before this?
Well, before, when I would think of fat and when I would think of my body, I just have this like sinking feeling like, oh man, I'm never going to get rid of this extra weight. And I've, my story is I fluctuated a lot in my adult life. So I started out kind of pretty average. And then I was telling Jenna, I gained 85 pounds over the course of like 8 years. So it's about 10 pounds a year. So it's about a pound a month, which doesn't sound like a lot. A pound a month is like a quarter of a pound per week. Who even notices that? And then suddenly I was like, really overweight.
And that was in your 20s, right?
I was in my 20s and I was extremely overweight. And, I could give all kinds of reasons. Like, I was doing my degree. But really, it was about not feeling good about me and kind of using food to stuff down feelings. That's what I was doing, right? And food was my only indulgence. Food was the only thing that wouldn't, like, it would always be there for me. It was always supportive. And then I also fell in love with shoes because shoes always fit, even if pants didn't, right? And so there was this whole like cycle around fat and about weight, and then I lost a bunch of weight, and then I gained a bunch of weight, and I got pregnant, and then I lost it, and then I gained a second baby, and then I lost it, and it's like back and forth. And finally this time I said, I'm ready to just be at my comfortable weight and not kind of do this yo-yo thing and not feel bad about myself and not attack myself for having gained weight for whatever the reasons, right? Whether it's from using food to stuff down feelings, or whether it's because I wasn't active, or whatever the reasons, but not to beat up on myself anymore. That's what I've decided around weight. And so instead, there's this whole fun other thing that's happening, and it's really fun, and it takes that pressure off. So when I step on the scale in the morning, I'm not like feeling like a failure if the number's gone up or down, or feeling like a huge success if the number's gone up or down. It's just like, okay, this is what it is today. Yeah. But also not like, for years, I just refused to step on a scale, right? And so that's where I was just in denial. I'm like, no, I don't even want to look at it. And I was kind of like, one of my teachers calls it a talking head, where you're just disconnected from your body. And I was like, I was living up here, but I didn't even have any idea what was going on down here, right? Wow. So that's where it used to be. So it's a much better place now.
Yeah, totally. And the difference is that now you don't hate your body, like because when you feel that resentment towards your body, and when that becomes really the focus, and when you're focusing on your body and you're focusing on not gaining weight, like
what is the universe
you're
here?
Gonna gain weight, totally,
gain weight.
Yeah,
right.
So when you start to love your body, like I remember when I was in high school, so I was always like tall and slim when I was growing up. And then I actually would exercise a lot. Like since I was 11 years old, I'd exercise. And when I was like 12, 13, 14, I was not eating much at all, like deliberately not eating very much at all. And when I was 15, so we moved here when I was 14. So we did a few big moves, and a few things happened, and you're a teenager, and I took things really hard. So I became kind of depressed, and I gained like probably 30 pounds in a year or 6 months or something. Like it was really rapid weight gain. Yeah. And I remember just like looking at my stomach and like pushing it in, and just being like, I hate you. Like, I just, like, resented it, and I felt so out of control. It was so out of control. And the more out of control I felt, the more out of control my eating became.
Of course.
Because I felt like I had no sense of personal empowerment. Like, I didn't own my body at all.
Right.
It was just happening to me. Right? And so the difference, I think what changed, it didn't change until I was in university, but what changed is that I just started to focus less on my body and more on like being active, and I would walk. I lived in downtown. I would walk from my apartment to my school, which was also in downtown, to work after, back to my apartment. So I think I was doing about 3 hours of walking a day. And it was just about the exercise, and I started to eat less because it was just about like being active and feeling good, and I stopped hating myself.
And the
so
exercise
much.
wasn't to lose weight, right?
It wasn't to lose weight.
And that's the difference. Like this time when I'm exercising, it's not about losing weight.
No.
It's about having fun. For me, I'm doing my Zumba thing and like going for walks, but it's not about, I'm not going for walks because I should go for a walk. I'm going for a walk because I want to go buy some oranges from the neighborhood grocery store, and I'm just going to walk there instead of driving, right? So it's building that activity into your life. So it's not this like job to go and get active.
And something that really helps if you're a competitive person is the Fitbit. Because, you do. Yeah, because you're counting your steps. You can compete against other people. It's like this fun.
Or yourself.
Yes.
Please don't ask me to compete against you on Fitbit because I'm going to turn you down. Because it's too stressful for me. I don't like competing against people. But I will definitely compete against myself. And so I'm like, today I got, let's see, how many thousand? Okay, what's your number? I went to Zumba, so
mine's 44.
7444? What is that? 7,400? Mine's 10,185. It's Zumba,
gosh.
man, because you like make all these steps. You get steps.
Wow, mine was spin class, so you don't.
So you don't step. Yeah. Maybe stairs. How many stairs?
I don't think mine.
Does yours do stairs?
Yeah, it does stairs.
Heartbeat, you're good?
7 sets.
16.
Oh my gosh!
It's Zumba.
My butt.
I can't tell you. See, I feel so uncomfortable with this right now. Now I feel like we should like delete all that.
Why?
I hate competition these days. Okay, I'll tell you where that comes from.
Where?
When I was growing up, I was always number one in school.
Mm-hmm.
And people made me feel so bad about that.
Because, Syra, you're not supposed to be egotistical. You're not supposed to feel good. You're not supposed to be smart.
But people would pick on me for being a nerd, right? People would pick on me. I wouldn't have any friends. I only had friends if people needed help on their homework.
Oh my gosh.
Then I would have friends.
That's so sad.
It was awful. So that was what being number one did for me. It killed me, man. It killed me.
Okay, so
But it also got me a PhD. So, hey, all y'all haters.
So being number one is the worst. How are you going to reframe that then?
Let's reframe. Okay, help me through. What are we going to do, Jenna?
So being number one is the worst out.
Well, yeah.
Because you don't have any friends when you're number one. What are you number one at today?
Comment below. I have no idea.
You are number one at being a freaking rock star at leading workshops.
I'm pretty good at
You
that.
are number one.
Okay.
Like, I went to your workshop. Seriously transformative. And before I went, I was like, oh, it's like a day. What are you going to do in a day? Yeah, there's a lot you can do in a day. You own that stuff. And when you're up there, you're like all suave and sophisticated. And then you're like funny and fun too.
But I'm not trying to be.
You're just being you.
So, okay,
right?
I'll own that.
So you're number one at workshops. And what has it gotten you?
Money. I get to do what I love to do, and it doesn't feel like work. And just, I get to travel, because I get to go to different places.
Mm-hmm. And how do people treat you?
Great.
Because you're like the leader of the workshop.
They don't have a choice, Jenna.
One.
They don't have a choice.
No, but you're like
they're locked in.
No,
they're like locked in. That's even one of the agreements. You're locked in
not to leave. But you were like the celebrity of the workshops.
Oh.
Am I right?
That's right. And I still have friends.
Hello, you have so many friends.
All right.
People are lining up to be, they're actually kind of scared to be friends with you, but they're lining up to be friends with you because they're like, oh my God, she's like so high above us right now, but like we really like her. So we want to be your friend.
But I'm not. I'm just like a normal person.
I know you're a normal person, but to us, in the workshop, you're like this like shining beacon.
Okay.
Right?
So it's okay to be number one.
Oh my God, it's amazing to be number one.
I don't know. I still don't know about the Fitbit number one though.
Okay, we'll work to that.
We'll get there. Maybe in a year. Or maybe less. Jenna thinks I always set really long timelines. She's like, no, how about a month? Not a year, a month.
Yeah, we'll set these goals and I'll be like, all right, when are we going to do this? She's like, 2018. I'm like, next week?
Okay, cleared that one up. Got it.
It's great to be number one.
It's great. Okay, so today's your day to be smoking hot, to be number one at you.
So give yourself permission to just like not be humble. Don't be humble. Who cares?
And remember, it's only a problem if you're putting other people down. That's where we get worried about arrogance or like being so proud of yourself. Is like if you're going to be so proud of yourself and push people down and step on people to get there. If you feel good about you and if you demonstrate that, it gives other people permission to feel good about themselves. Yeah. Like your family members, your children, your spouses, like all of these people who are just waiting for a leader to show them what it would be like to live a life where they felt good about themselves.
So get rid of those comparisons in general. I mean, comparing yourself to people is never going to make you feel good because there's always going to be someone better, always someone worse in your own perception. Like your perception of things, or that you're never going to be the top of the top of the top, right? So let go of all those comparisons. Be the best you can be and own it.
And own what your number one is, right? Like today I just owned, as you saw, demonstration. Mm-hmm. I was forced against my will. No, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Right, but knowing that you're really good at something and then owning it. And, you know, I've struggled with this arrogant humility thing a lot because I was so smart, as a kid, that kind of made me a little bit entitled. Right, it made me a little bit like, oh, well, I don't need to work hard because I'm so smart, right? And it just continued, and until I got to my master's program, where now I wasn't just learning facts, I was actually having to like create new content, and that's where I had to like. My mom always says, "Eat humble pie." I had to eat humble pie, right? Yeah. And learn a new way of learning, and so that's where. And so there's I think it's a balance about knowing that you're good at something without doing it in a way that like has that sense of entitlement or I'm better than everyone else because I have this thing.
That's so funny because I was the opposite. Because growing up, my teacher would be like, oh, she's so gifted, and I would do all these things, and I was in these private schools, but I didn't want to be different, so I would pretend like I'd be very Valley Girl. You could probably still see some of that right now. But I'd be like very Valley Girl and very like, oh my God, like very bubbly and just like owning a different aspect and kind of pushing away the smarts because I didn't want to be too smart because then people wouldn't like me, right?
So you know it's true, Jenna. You just admitted it.
But when you're an adult, it's different.
Oh, when you're an adult, it's okay.
And these days for kids, it's different too.
That's true.
Yeah, kids, it's cool to be smart these days.
Like all the geeky glasses?
Yeah.
I love it. Finally,
so
glasses are
smart.
cool. One day I'll wear my glasses for you because I've had them since I was 6.
We can have a glasses day.
Okay, today was the gym day, as you can clearly see.
So, own your stuff. Get rid of comparisons. Be smoking hot. Be magnetic.
Magnetic. Electric.
And have an amazing day.
Today's your day.
And comment below if there's anything else you'd like to see, if there's something that you particularly liked, or not if you didn't like it. Don't tell us anything. No, you can tell us. We're just kidding.
But especially topics, things that you want us to talk about, let us know and then we'll build them into our future episodes.
And if you had any aha moments, we'd love to hear about those too. Those are amazing. Have an awesome day. See you next week.